Hello and welcome back to the Aunty Lisa show. What shall we do a story about today? Let's see. In the silver bag we have the Minions, and let's have one more from there. A lion. Okie dokie. In the red bag we have Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer. And give it a good old shuffle. Kwazii. Pirate cat. And one more. Andy. Oh, blimey, that's quite a mix. Right. Places. Right, there's only 2 places left in here at the moment. Which one? Prison Island. Super. Have I got a random thing? Which one's the bag of random things? Let's see. Bag of random things is quite full. A lost shoe. Okie dokie. I think that's everything, isn't it? Oh no, transport. I think this is my transport bag. There's only 2 things in here too. The swamp ship. Interesting. Oh, blimey. Right. One day, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer decided to pay a visit to Prison Island because they needed to visit some friends of theirs. They needed to visit the Minions because the Minions were all in prison on Prison Island for being naughty and getting into trouble and stealing stuff and things like that. Because the Minions have a bit of a history of getting involved with bad guys. Now, obviously, at the moment, Gru's a pretty nice guy. But anyway, they got themselves into some trouble. So, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer decided to go and visit. So they packed a bag with all sorts of useful stuff and snacks and drinks, and they went on their way to Prison Island. Now, to get to Prison Island, you actually, obviously, being an island, have to cross a little bit of water. So they needed to go in a boat. So they borrowed a boat and they set sail for Prison Island. But something crazy happened on their way, which was the swamp ship appeared through the gloom of the sea. And Aleksander and Kristoffer went, no, look, Aunty Lisa, the swamp ship, the swamp ship. And Aunty Lisa was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And on board the swamp ship were all kinds of crazy, terrifying ghosts. And Aunty Lisa wished that they had maybe not bothered going to Prison Island. So, as luck would have it, Aleksander and Kristoffer are pretty well trained when it comes to ghost hunting. So the swamp ship was going to get a nasty surprise. Or rather, the people on the swamp ship were going to get a nasty surprise. And here's what happened. The swamp ship came closer and closer and closer. And Aunty Lisa and Aleksander's boat was like, brrr. That's Aunty Lisa driving it. Brrr. Getting closer and closer to each other. And the swamp ship was like, ah. And the pirate gangster ghosts on the swamp ship were like, aha, we're gonna steal all of your stuff. And Aunty Lisa went, no, we haven't got anything worth stealing. And Aleksander and Kristoffer went, we're gonna zap you. Pew, 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 pew. And the ghosts all went, "Argh!" And they said, "Hey, you can't zap us because we have kidnapped your friends." And Aunty Lisa and Aleksander and Kristoffer went, "What? You kidnapped our friends? Who? Who?" "No, that silly cat. That Kwazii cat from the Octonauts. We've got him hidden away in the back of Prison Island." "We told you too much. But anyway, don't zap us, or you'll never find your friend. We'll take him to the hidden side." Well, Aleksander, Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa were in a state of shock. They needed to rescue Kwazii. So they called up, first of all, Captain Barnacles of the Octonauts. And they called him up and they said, "Hello, Captain Barnacles. Do you know what's going on?" And Captain Barnacles said, "Ahoy there. I was just about to call you guys. Kwazii has been kidnapped by some horrible, scary ghost pirates. Do you think you can help?" Aunty Lisa and Aleksander were like, and Kristoffer as well, "We are going to try and help. Whereabouts are you?" And Captain Barnacle said, "We are about 2 miles away from Prison Island, but they've chained the octopod down to the ground, so we couldn't chase them." And Aunty Lisa and Aleksander and Kristoffer were like, "What? They did what? That's so mean. Okay, we're going to see what we can do to help. We'll be in touch. All right, bye-bye." Well, the octopod was out of action, chained to the ground, chained to the seabed, I should say. And poor Kwazii had been kidnapped by some evil ghost pirates, presumably because he's a friendly pirate cat. So they needed to help Kwazii. They had to think fast, super fast, about what they could do to help. They needed to track him down. So they called up all of JB and Jack and those guys. And JB and Jack and El Fuego and Parker said, "Oh my gosh, we will come and help straight away. But we're just busting some other ghosts, so we'll be along as quickly as we can once we've caught them." And Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa went, "Oh, we're going to have to go super quick, because otherwise poor Kwazii's going to get in so much trouble. He might get taken to the hidden side." So Aunty Lisa revved up the boat and they zoomed around to the beach at the back of Prison Island. And they go, it's not how boats sound when you park them. You don't park boats. Anyway, they stopped the boat and anchored it. That's what you do with boats. Behind Prison Island at the beach. And they thought, this has got to be, surely, if we search around here long enough, we'll find him. He's got to be here somewhere. Now, Aleksander and Kristoffer started walking along the beach, looking and looking for any signs they could find, until they spotted something just sticking out of the sand. And they ran over to it. And Aunty Lisa was like, "What's that? What's that?" And do you know what it was? It was a lost shoe. And Kristoffer said, "I think this is Kwazii's shoe. He must be nearby." So, busy day. Aleksander, Aunty Lisa and Kristoffer started following the trail. They picked up the shoe and they were hoping maybe they would find something else along the way that could help them. And they kept looking and looking and looking. And then they found another shoe. And they were like, "Whoa, another shoe. They match. These have got to be Kwazii's shoes. We must be on the right track." And so they kept going along, following that trail along the beach. And then they found another thing. And it was Kwazii's hat. His pirate hat. And Aunty Lisa said, "You know what? I think Kwazii is leaving us a trail to find. Hopefully we'll be able to track him down if we keep finding all of his belongings." So they kept going and going. And it started to get kind of rocky along the beach. It was no longer sandy and easy to walk on. There was lots of rocks and bumps and lovely rock pools, but there was no time to look at them. And they kept going and going. And then they found Kwazii's eye patch. They were like, oh, he's definitely nearby. Clever Kwazii, leaving us a trail. Oh. So they knew they were close. And then they looked around and they saw a really big cave opening. And they were like, oh, I bet he's in there. Aleksander and Kristoffer went to run inside that cave. But Aunty Lisa said, no, because the moment of being responsible adults. She said, wait, we need to get back up before we go into a cave. It could be a trap. That seemed pretty darn sensible. So they called back JB and Parker and all those guys. And JB and Parker were like, we're on our way. We're on our way. We're literally 5 minutes away, okay? And Aunty Lisa and Aleksander and Kristoffer explained where at the back of Prison Island they were and gave them coordinates and everything. And then they started investigating around the cave entrance. And they looked inside the cave entrance and they were like, I can't hear anything. I can't smell anything. But I guess he's probably stuck in there somewhere. We definitely can't see anything. It's too dark and we all forgot our torches. Darn it. Now, they thought, well, we'll just have a teeny look inside. Just a teeny look. Not too far. And they tiptoed in. And then they heard a sound. And the sound went... And Aunty Lisa and Aleksander and Kristoffer stood perfectly still. And they thought to themselves, this was a really bad idea. We should have stayed outside. And then, out of the darkness, came a terrifying lion. And it went... And Aunty Lisa said, I didn't think lions lived in caves on the back of Prison Island. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, that ain't no ordinary lion, Aunty Lisa. That is a ghost lion. And the ghost lion was getting closer and closer. And Aunty Lisa said, well, it smells like an ordinary lion. And it looks like it could eat us like an ordinary lion. And the ghost came closer and closer. And it was like... And it was just about to leap at them in a terrifying state when from behind came a very welcome noise. And it went like this. And it was Spencer the ghost dog. He was barking away at that lion. And the lion did not know what to do. The lion ghost was like, arr, eh? Something inside him said, cats don't like dogs. But he didn't know quite how to process it. And he was like, arr, eh? And in this moment of uncertainty, Aleksander and Kristoffer had time to zap that lion ghost. Pew, 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 pew! He got sucked into their iPads. It was a close one. Quickly, running behind them, appeared JB, Jack, Parker, and El Fuego. And they were like, hey, we're here, we're here, we're here. What did we miss? And Aunty Lisa said, well, only a ghost lion. But we sorted it, thanks to Spencer. And they said, okay, we still got to find Kwazii. So, together, they all walked deeper and deeper and deeper into the cave system. It was pitch black now. They could hear little rustling sounds of rats and mice and bats and cool creatures like that. But no sign yet of poor old Kwazii. They kept going and going and going until it got really, really tight and small, and they had to sidle through the little gaps, and everyone felt pretty darned uncomfortable. And then they came out into an opening, and there was Kwazii. Poor Kwazii was sat on a chair with his hands tied up. And he was crying like this. And everyone went, Kwazii, no! And Kwazii went, and then he went. And he indicated to where there were the ghosts that had kidnapped him. And they hadn't yet spotted Aunty Lisa, Aleksander, Kristoffer and everybody else. So they all backed up a little bit. And they said, right, we need to act as one. We're going to have to cross the streams. We're going to have to see if we can zap them all in one go. If we give them any time at all, they will get us, because this is a really tight spot we're in. And they said, okay, 1, 2, 3. And all at once they went, pew, 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 pew. And all the ghosts went, ah, and started charging at them. But Aunty Lisa, Aleksander, Kristoffer, JB, El Fuego, Jack and Parker were too good at their job. Pew, 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 pew. One ghost disappeared. Pew, 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 pew. Another ghost disappeared. Pew. Another ghost disappeared. Pew, 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 pew. Until all the ghosts were gone. What a relief. They had foiled the ghost's evil plan to lure them and capture them all. It had been a pretty close one. Aleksander and Kristoffer ran over to poor old Kwazii and untied him. And he said, well, hi there, thank you, guys. Whatever can I do to repay you? You're the best. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, there's no need. You just be our lovely friend, Kwazii. And Kwazii said, okay, thanks. So they all left the cave all together. And they were still now stuck a little bit at the back of Prison Island. And they thought to themselves, you know who we haven't visited still? We haven't got around to visiting the minions. Kwazii said, I love the minions. I'd really like to visit the minions. That would cheer me right up. So they said, okay, how about we pay a really quick visit to the minions and then we'll take you back to the octopod, which everyone had forgotten was still chained to the bottom of the seabed. So they paid a really quick visit to the minions in the prison. And the minions were like, banana, banana. Luckily, Aunty Lisa had bought some bananas, so she gave them all out. Loads of bananas. And they did some dancing and some singing. And everybody was thoroughly cheered up. Now, they were just about to leave Prison Island when they spotted somebody else they know. You know who it was? It was Andy. Andy was on Prison Island. What? Yes, Andy. They said, hey, Andy, what are you doing on Prison Island? And Andy said, oh, I got in trouble for time traveling and bringing back a stegosaurus that, well, it broke loads of stuff. And anyway, the police said I had to go to prison for a little bit to think about it. And Aunty Lisa said, well, we kind of thought one day this was going to happen, didn't we? And Andy said, yeah, I really need to be more careful when I time travel. And Aunty Lisa said, well, or maybe don't time. And Andy said, I love time traveling. I'm still going to time travel, but I have to make sure that none of the dinosaurs come back with me. And Aunty Lisa said, good compromise. Well, you give us a call when you're out of prison, okay, Andy? Or if not, we'll come visit you as well. So anyway, they had done all their visiting for that day, and they took their boats out to where the octopod was and dived down in their scuba gear and untied the octopod from the seabed. Captain Barnacles was super pleased, and everyone was overjoyed to see Kwazii safe and sound. And to celebrate, they all had a massive disco party and chocolate cake and all other cakes, whatever you wanted. And a nice cup of tea and a sit down for Aunty Lisa because she was so tired out. And that is the end of the story. Love you. Bye-bye.